Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and today we're going to take a closer look at this TOPDON ArtiBattery 101. As far as I can tell, this might be the least expensive of the TOPDON testing tools. They make a lot of high-end ones. They make ones that rival the big boys. This is in their DIY series, which I'm glad that they produce things that aren't for the professional mechanic, but you could easily use this at the professional level. In fact, I watched a few other videos online from mechanics, and they rave about it. In fact, they had an earlier version because I could tell by the interface. This thing, it's about the size of a small cell phone, you can see, and that means it also works in cell phone holders, which is kind of nice, especially if you're working one-handed. So anyway, let's take a look at it. Its operation. Basically, it's got two fixed clamps right here, positive and negative. Let's go ahead and clamp those on. It's powered by the battery. Gives me an initial 12.86 volts, and then I can run into the testing on this. There's the battery test. The battery test is the first one. It asks you what kind of battery. We've got a regular flooded here. Cold cranking amps. In this case, I already looked it up. This has got supposedly back in 2018 when this battery was made, it was 750 cold cranking amps. That already is there. This is also a memory, so if you're testing the same battery over and over, it holds that. And now it's doing the fundamental test, just sitting here. Takes about 10 seconds, and what you'll see is big bold, replace this battery. Health is 41%, charge 100%. Internal resistance rated, versus real cold cranking amps, it's a little over half. Let's take a look at another test. I'm going to go to the cranking test. When I turn that on, it tells me to start the engine and begins a countdown. None of these other buttons work at this moment, so you got to do nothing but either wait and fail the test or start your engine. I'll go ahead and start it. Oh, listen to that kitten purr. So it gives me the time. That's a fairly long time there. And the voltage is good enough. We can move to the next test. This is the charging test. So what I'm going to do, select that, make sure your engine's started. Then what do? Let it run the ripple test. That's how noisy the electricity is, whether or not it's going to mess up computers. I don't think there is one in here with the carburetor. Okay, now increase the RPMs, keep it for 5 seconds. So here I go. I'll crank up the RPMs. Charging's normal, so we're in good shape. Let me turn this off. All right, now what else do we have here? We can go back to review the data. Basically replace the batteries, what it's telling me, but not only just replace it, but why, where the limits are, what's the problem with this thing. It obviously still works. I started the car with it, but before you take off on a trip, you definitely want to have a battery you could count on. Anyway, this comes with the instruction manual in English, and the reason that's kind of a thing to mention is because they don't print it in all the other languages like a lot of these products. This particular one comes with a access code, or a QR code, I guess, to get into all of the other languages. So they're saving paper that way, and it walks you through how to use this thing. It doesn't give a lot of detail as to what exactly that test means. They're not trying to turn you into a auto diagnostician. So I looked up some of these other things online just to get an idea of what does that test actually mean. Here on mine, if I go to my, and if I've got my cranking test here, if I can get to that, 10.93 volts in my cranking test, so you can see that it was good. No action needed for that, but you can see where those cutoffs are, which gives you the idea of what makes the diagnosis of replace or good or whatever, or not bad, bad, very bad. Anyway, thought you might be interested in one of these that, you know, about 40 bucks on Amazon. There's a link below. It's just amazing. This has moved into another one of those tools that I'd rather have than trying to do this with a multimeter. It just seems so much easier and simpler. And I hope that was helpful. With that, Doc out.